I have a friend who grew up in Israel in Jerusalem, and he has a rabbi who lives in Israel. The rabbi grew up in America, and he's seen kind of both sides of the coin, and then he made Aliyah. And I remember when we were roommates, and I would always hear him sitting in the lectures. His rabbi was giving lectures on Zoom, and the most common theme, the prevailing theme of the whole of every single solitary lecture was he was always talking about like everything comes back to entitlement. There was always these like deep Kabbalistic ideas, and it all comes back to entitlement. And I remember I met this rabbi once, and he told me he's just like what I'm seeing in America. He's like I started already seeing it in the 70s. Why it's rotting from the inside, literally, as wealthy as it is, and as abundant as it is, as prosperous as it is, it's entitlement. People feel entitled. You know, you go to Israel. Listen, I haven't met too many entitled people in Israel. Very few. And then the ones I have met, guess what? They're Americans and they just made Aliyah and they're expecting this and they're expecting that. And I remember like when I lived in Israel and I came back here to America, dude, man, the level of entitlement I saw. Listen, unfortunately, in our community, and in general, not just in our community, in general, is insane. And the Torah says, Hashem told the people, you know the whole famous thing, when we before we went into the land, what did he tell us? Don't get too fat and happy.
Where do you say that?
Deuteronomy, I mean, this is just, I don't know what parsha that says, Deuteronomy 8, 12, 14. Lest when you have eaten and are satisfied and have built fine houses and you live in them, and when your herds and flocks multiply, and your silver and gold is multiplied, and all that you have is multiplied, then your heart will be lifted up, and you forget the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. So he's saying you're gonna forget about me. You're gonna forget that it was me that gave you all this stuff. And dude, when you forget about Hashem, dude, our name, the name of the Jewish people, Yehudim, it's uh Hoda'ah, gratefulness, thankfulness. We are people who thank Hashem. We make a bracha before we eat. We thank him before we eat, and then we thank him after we eat. We're constantly thanking him. And so when you get all this fat cash and then you think you did it and you think you're so talented and then you forget about him, you forget about thanking him and you forget about thanking other people. You forget about thanking that this all this stuff, this wonderful SUV that you're able to get for, whatever salary you got and what wonderful house that it could be taken away in a second by freaking Hitler Part 2.
Yeah.
Like by the new mayor of New York, Hamas man.
Yeah.